Details about Glenn Ford's death that still scare us today. Glenn Ford was one of the most versatile and admired actors of the golden age of Hollywood, known for his naturalistic acting style and his ability to excel in a wide range of genres. Over a career that spanned more than 5 decades, Ford captivated audiences with his understated charisma, deep emotional range, and dedication to his craft. He appeared in over 100 films and television productions, leaving an indelible mark on American cinema and securing a legacy as one of Hollywood's most enduring stars. Born Gwilyn Samuel Newton Ford on May 1, 1916, in Sainte-Christine-d'Auvergne, Quebec, Canada, Ford moved to California with his family when he was just 8 years old. His early life was shaped by a deep love for acting and performance, which he nurtured during his high school years in Santa Monica, California. Ford's decision to pursue acting professionally was cemented when he joined a local theater group. After performing in numerous stage productions, he attracted the attention of Hollywood agents and eventually signed a contract with Columbia Pictures in the late 1930s. Ford's first significant film roles came in the early 1940s, where he quickly distinguished himself as an actor capable of bringing a realistic and nuanced quality to his characters. His breakout role came in Gilda, 1946, where he starred opposite Rita Hayworth. The film's intense and volatile love story, combined with Ford's subtle yet powerful performance, solidified him as a leading man in Hollywood. His portrayal of Johnny Farrell, a morally ambiguous gambler, was lauded for its complexity, and the chemistry he shared with Hayworth made the film a classic of post-war cinema. One of Glenn Ford's most remarkable traits as an actor was his versatility. While many stars of his era became typecast, Ford successfully navigated a wide range of genres, from film noir and westerns to dramas, comedies, and even war films. He is perhaps best known for his roles in westerns like The Fastest Gun Alive, 1956, and 3:10 to Yuma, 1957, where he displayed a restrained yet powerful presence. Unlike many actors in westerns who played larger-than-life, gunslinging heroes, Ford brought a level of humanity and vulnerability to his characters, making them relatable and more three-dimensional. In addition to westerns, Ford excelled in dramas such as The Blackboard Jungle, 1955, where he portrayed a dedicated high school teacher struggling to reach his rebellious students in an inner-city school. His portrayal of Richard Dadier in the film resonated with audiences for its sincerity and the social message it conveyed about the challenges of education in the 1950s. The film itself became an important cultural touchstone, remembered for its realism and for introducing Bill Haley's Rock Around the Clock to mainstream audiences. Ford's comedic talent was also well demonstrated in films like The Tea House of the August Moon, 1956, where he portrayed a bumbling American officer in post-World War II Japan. His ability to deliver comedic lines with impeccable timing while maintaining a sense of sincerity endeared him to audiences in a way that few actors of his time could manage. His ability to effortlessly transition between serious drama and lighthearted comedy made him a unique talent in the film industry. Ford's life off-screen was just as fascinating as his on-screen career. During World War II, he enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve and served with distinction, rising to the rank of captain. His military service continued through the Korean War, where he served in the United States Navy and achieved the rank of lieutenant commander. Ford's service in both wars earned him several commendations, including the French Legion of Honor. His military experience not only reflected his personal dedication to his country but also informed his portrayals of soldiers and veterans in films, where he brought an authenticity that resonated with audiences. In his personal life, Ford was married 4 times, most famously to actress Eleanor Powell, with whom he had one son, Peter Ford. His marriage to Powell was seen as one of Hollywood's iconic pairings in the 1940s, though it ended in divorce after 16 years. His relationships, like his career, were marked by a blend of public admiration and private challenges. Ford continued to act into the 1970s and 1980s, transitioning to television roles as well as occasional film appearances. His later work included appearances in television films such as The Sacketts, 1979, and The Greatest Gift, 1974, which allowed him to showcase his talent in new formats as the film industry evolved. Though the pace of his career slowed, Ford's performances retained the same emotional depth and professionalism that had marked his earlier work. In recognition of his contributions to the film industry, Ford received numerous awards and honors, including a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. His longevity in an industry known for rapid change was a testament to his skill, professionalism, and the enduring appeal he held for audiences across generations. Glenn Ford's death on August 30, 2006, at the age of 90, was a somber and emotional event that marked the end of an era for one of Hollywood's most beloved and enduring stars. While his passing might not have been entirely unexpected due to his advanced age and ongoing health issues, the circumstances surrounding his final days were deeply tragic, particularly considering the strong, resilient persona he had cultivated throughout his long career. In the years leading up to his death, Ford had faced numerous health challenges. He had suffered a series of debilitating strokes beginning in the early 1990s, which severely limited his mobility and quality of life. These strokes forced him into relative seclusion, and although he made a few public appearances afterward, including at a 2006 film retrospective held in his honor, he was often wheelchair-bound and visibly frail. The once dashing and energetic actor, known for his rugged good looks and commanding screen presence, had been reduced to a shadow of his former self. His decline was particularly tragic for fans who had long admired his tough yet sensitive portrayals of cowboys, soldiers, and everyday men caught in extraordinary circumstances. Despite his physical struggles, Ford remained mentally sharp in his later years, which added a layer of poignancy to his final moments. Being fully aware of his diminishing health but unable to physically recover must have been a torment for a man who had once been so full of life and vitality. He had always prided himself on his independence and ability to perform his own stunts during his film career, yet in the end, he was left dependent on others for even the most basic tasks. This contrast between the vigorous on-screen hero and the frail man he became in real life underscores the tragedy of his death. Ford's passing also marked the end of a life that, while filled with success and admiration, was not without its personal struggles and heartache. He had gone through multiple marriages, most notably to actress Eleanor Powell, and his relationships with his son and others close to him were often strained. As he neared the end of his life, Ford experienced the isolation that often comes with age, especially for someone who had spent decades in the limelight. Although he was a major star during the golden age of Hollywood, his final years were quieter and more solitary, with fewer friends and family members by his side. In the last moments of his life, Glenn Ford passed away in the privacy of his Beverly Hills home, where he had lived for many years. He was reportedly surrounded by his loved ones, but the atmosphere was one of quiet sadness rather than a grand farewell. While many actors are remembered with large public funerals and tributes, Ford's death was understated, reflecting the quiet dignity with which he had always carried himself. His final moments were not characterized by the glamour or public attention that had defined much of his career but were instead marked by the quiet resignation of a man who had lived a long and full life, despite its challenges. The tragedy of Glenn Ford's death lies not only in the physical suffering he endured in his final years but also in the broader context of how Hollywood's brightest stars often fade away in relative obscurity. For a man who had been one of the most recognizable faces on the silver screen for decades, his final years were a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the inevitability of aging, even for those who seem larger than life. Although his death did not garner the same level of media attention as other stars of his generation, his passing marked the loss of one of the last remaining links to a bygone era of Hollywood glamour and storytelling. In retrospect, Glenn Ford's death can be seen as a reflection of the end of a long, tumultuous, and ultimately impactful life. His final moments were tragic not just because of the physical and emotional toll they took on him but because they represented the final chapter in a story that had captivated audiences for more than half a century.